Go on, kidder. How do? On this wet Sunday afternoon. Might be a bit longer this one, guys. If you want to get yourself a brew. So someone's asked me about inappropriate, get a bit of adjustment there, inappropriate relationships. That's prison staff with prisoners. The only relationships I can't talk about are lads, male prison officers, with lads, male prisoners. I've never come across it. I'm on about of a sexual nature now, falling in love and that sort of thing. It's probably happened, but like I say, I've never come across it. I have a good friend, used to work in female prisons, did a long time in the prison service, a short time in female prisons. How would he describe himself? Come on, kidder. Middle-aged, portly, jolly fellow. They're his words, not mine. He says, Sam, he says, I thought he'd seen it all in male prisons. He said it's outrageous. He says, and on the being proposition front, couple of 3 times a week, beautiful girls would proposition me. There is lads, officers who've been sacked from the female estate for inappropriate relations and the like. Now let's get on to Rose West. Rose West, if you're not from this country, infamous along with her husband, Fred West, serial killers. They were both captured before the millennium. I think they were locked up. Life sentences. I'm not sure whether they got whole of life. I think Fred West took his life before the trial. Anyway, in prison, this lass, highly influential. Another famous killer. Myra Hindley was in Durham prison with Rose, and it's alleged they had an affair. Very influential. Again, another lass I know worked in a prison where Rose West was, down south, and a couple of lasses, female staff, were actually sacked for inappropriate relations with her. She had a lot of influence. A bit of a guru, a Svengali, you know, an attraction, whatever that attraction was. There you go. I don't really know what to say about that. But she was a woman of influence, and that's not good. Can be very difficult. How you manage these people, I don't know. I don't know whether it's because they're infamous or whatever. Because again, people probably wouldn't class Rose West as a model with good looks, but they have a personality, a certain charm, and it does attract people. Okay then, on to Alisha Fallows, sorry. This young lady was in the papers probably a week ago. Someone sent me the article, asked me what I thought about it. So this lass is only young, around about 23 years of age. I hope you can hear me with the rain, guys. 23 years of age, had an affair, whatever that affair, you know, whatever it meant. It didn't go into details in the article, but it did say the guy she was having an affair with, they had an affair for about 3 months, He was doing 10 years, I think, for domestic violence, for beating his partner or whatever. The article focuses on the fact of his crime, which was horrific. Bless his victim. Let's hope, you know, she made some sort of recovery and he's able to live a normal life. But the thing is, the point they're missing, it doesn't matter what he did. When people get in these inappropriate relations, it don't matter. They'll get in appropriate relations with murderers, lifers, even rapists. It doesn't matter what the offence is. The attraction, well, move away from prisons. Every workplace environment, you know, the factory, the office, the supermarket, wherever people, lads and lasses, lasses and lasses, probably lads and lads, lads and whatever, people get into relationships, you know. I can't believe he left his missus and 3 kids for her, that sort of thing. Destroys families. But it doesn't matter the environment. So let's go to the prison environment. Don't matter, it's a prison environment. These are prisoners. People are going to fall for them. A lot of prisoners I come across had a certain amount of charm. Yeah? Charm's a winner all day. So this lass, she has escaped going to prison. She got a 2-year suspended sentence. She was obviously sacked. And obviously the repercussions, oh my word, Stephen. Okay, guys. Let's give you a smile. Are you all right in there, kid? He lost the ball in there, guys, about 2 years ago. He still looks for it. Yes, come on, you bugger. Go on, go away from me, that way. You're going back in, come on. Stephen, Stephen, come on. Good lad. Yeah, so you know, there's a humiliation of it. 2-year suspended sentence, unpaid community hours, whatever. It happens. So we get on to the current situation with the prison service. Again, lasses prisons, female prisons, yeah? There is a ratio of female staff to female prisoners. It's a high ratio. Female prisons can advertise for female-only positions in order to maintain this ratio. Male prisons, no. When I was in the private sector, probably, I would say, 40% of staff were lasses. I'll tell you now, you need lads in a lads' jail. And before anyone jumps up, you know, having a go, I'll tell you again, probably half my top 10 favourite officers I ever worked with, good officers, were lasses, no doubt about it. But for me, there should be a balance. When I worked on K-Wing at Strangeways, big wing, 200 prisoners, 40 staff, I would say 8 or 9, 9 or 10 were lasses, 25%. I thought that was a good balance, it worked well. And there was some good staff amongst them lasses. So, current climate. Prison service, apparently, ain't too bothered who it employs now. What do I mean by that? I don't want to knock people who go into the job. Lots of people contact me who are going into the job. There's a lot of young lasses in there and young lads. Like I say, prisoners are charming, you know. These lasses fall in love. It's the consequences. You know, they start trafficking drugs, mobile phones. We all know the problems that causes in prison. And there's lots of them about. The prison service, like I say, it's just bums on seats. Incidentally, facts and figures that are out now are quite scary. On actual recruitment front, the amount of staff are coming into the job and leaving, it's almost, well, it might have surpassed a balance. You know, 70% of staff in the first year, I believe I read, and in the noticing and leaving. It's a tough gig. There weren't enough staff 3 or 4 years ago. There's certainly not enough now. You know, we're looking at this 23-hour bang up, but the consequences of that as well. Again, go back to Caven when I were on there. 2 lasses got moved off for inappropriate behaviour. Got warned. One of them lasses got rotated, because she used to do a staff rotation, onto the Cat A unit. Cat A is, again, highest level of security. She was rotated onto that unit. After some time, she got finished. I'm not sure exactly why. Something to do with numbers in her phones. A lot of people get caught by phones, phone numbers, and the like being monitored. And mail, you know, officers sending mail, prisoners sending mail to officers, and vice versa. But she got sacked. Another lass we had at Strangeways. On this front, on reflection, for me, this was disgusting. This lass had been in the job a long time. She was clearly unwell. Mental health issues and other stuff going on. She'd had a tough family life. And she struggled. One of them officers, she was what you would call a good time girl. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way. Plenty of prison officers, lads, were dogs. You know, on a night out, they literally, probably, maybe, would have had sex with a dog. Yeah? So I'm not knocking her for that. However, she clearly worked well. They moved her from one area of the prison, again rotated her, and put her on the Cat A unit. She pleaded with managers and the like not to put her on there, and they did. I don't know how long she was on there. She got found out. I'm not exactly sure what for, but she was then out of the job. You see, some governors, and we had a really good governor, probably the best I've had, believe a prison officer can work anywhere. For me, prison officers, like everyone else in life, fall into categories. Some people would enjoy the Cat A unit, others not so much. Some people would manage on there. It's a challenging environment. There's some tough lads on there. It can be intimidating. Not for everyone. But again, 2 lasses rotated onto that unit, both sacked. The other thing that really is quite annoying from an ex-officer's point of view is the level of corruption. You know, it's going through the roof. Some prisons now have the airport style security. And that's for prisoners. That's to stop prisoners taking drugs into prison. A couple of harsh facts. If 10 lads, we'll use Strangeways for instance, turned up at Strangeways at night and they had mobile phones unplugged and drugs plugged, you know, up their nether regions where you can't get them, what are you going to do? Turn them away? You can't. It happens. The segregation has a couple of dry cells. A dry cell is a cell where the toilet literally has a tank. So anyone who passes anything, tries to get rid of anything, flush anything, they can be found out. If everyone's turning up with drugs and mobiles, not a lot they can do. They'll know they're there, not a lot they can do. And you know what? Prisoners will ride it out. I've known prisoners down the seg for a month, some up the back passage, and then they've been put on normal location, and the staff have never retrieved that parcel. What you need to be doing is using these portals for all staff, legal staff, civvy staff and prison officers entering prisons if you want to stop corruption. A lot of lasses in this job, again, you know, falling in love. Blind love, getting themselves in trouble, taking stuff in. Rose West, influential, staff fell for her. Yeah, that's Svengali influence. This young lass, 23, fell for someone. Again, it doesn't matter what they're in for. Yeah, don't matter the crime. You fall in love with someone, the wrong person, it happens. It happens outside prison, it happens in prison. I'm gonna leave it there, guys, because my hands are freezing. How we doing, laddo? Gonna give him his ball. Couple of 3 interviews, like I've said this week. I don't know where it is, kid. Parting shot as always, guys. Sit. Sit. Good boy. All the best, guys. Thanks for coming. Al City.